Good morning everybody, this is Victoria. Welcome back to another drawing process video this week. So today what we're actually going to work on is Kaeya from Genshin Impact. So this is my brand new fully colored illustration of Genshin Impact, and I'm super excited to share this new character with you guys because I think it's been a while since I've drawn another Genshin Impact though, but I was working on this in the process, so basically you guys will see the whole drawing and creative process of Kaeya's drawing today. So you'll get to see how I transferred the sketch onto the Bristol paper, and then you'll also kind of see how I layer my colors with colored pencils and just kind of gradually building more and more layers until it becomes the finished and completed drawing and doing final touch-ups. And for those who are completely new to this art YouTube channel, my name is Victoria and I am a self-taught fine art artist, illustrator, and I am also an art teacher that creates these fun tutorials and drawing processes and also drawing exercises and constructions to help my students and then those who loves to draw and paint improve their drawing and painting skills. So if you guys are ready, let's get started today. So basically, I'm going to kind of show you how I started off the illustration. So we're going to start off with the transferring of the sketch onto the Bristol paper. So this is a very common step that I do nowadays for a majority of my illustrations. So basically, I would like to do the sketch on a sketch paper, and I usually use Strathmore sketch paper. And once I'm done doing the testing out, so basically playing with pose, playing with a little bit of like the composition and how I would like the character to be in. So basically I would do that on the sketch and I wouldn't worry too much about the final work because I'm going to do a clean version on the Bristol paper. So once I finish transferring that onto the Bristol paper, then I actually start kind of refining and finding the lines of the transfer because sometimes it's not very clear, and then I would actually add first a base color. So I'm currently working on the hair right now, and I kind of gave a little bit of base tones. I used blue from the 24 colored pencil set from Crayola, and I also have a mixture of light blue as well for any part that has a little bit of the lighter tones of blue. So as you can see, I'm just kind of like slowly and gradually mapping things out again, even though I did do the transfer from the sketch. And as you can see on the right side, you can actually see the sketch that's like right beside me so that I have some kind of reference to look at so that I can kind of remember what the drawing is like. So if I needed to change anything or if I wanted to adjust something, I can see what the old one used to look like and whether if I'd like the new change or would I rather keep the old original shape and form. And now I'm just mostly kind of working on the hair first. There's no specific area where I like to work first. Usually I think so what I usually go with is top to bottom. So I would like to finish coloring majority of the top part and kind of slowly move downwards so that it prevents from smudging. And then here we are starting to work on the eye over here because he only has two eyes though, but he only has one eye that's visible. And I also use a combination of light blue and also black, and then for the eye line I used brown and black. So this is a very detailed area, and we want to be really careful not to screw this up over here because if you do, then you would probably have to restart again. So that's one of the downsides of traditionals, that you have to be really precise with every pencil stroke that you draw with and color with. So basically you want to be really careful. Okay, so now we're gonna add a little bit of skin tone. So surprising fact, I actually I think Kaeya's like one of the very few characters that I actually drew that has like a darker skin tone, and I actually have not a lot of characters, like even with some of my OCs, I don't think so I have a lot of characters with like dark skin tones. It's just rare for me to draw characters with darker skin tones, but I'm actually really happy that I drew Kaeya because it was actually really fun to play with different skin tones instead of super light pale kind of anime character, I guess. But Kaeya was interesting because like there's also so many different darker skin tones too, so it was really fun to try this out. I think so I did like a few though, but it's very minimal from compared to all the other lighter anime skin tones I usually do. So I would definitely look forward to going in different skin tones and try out a lot of different things. Like I'm even open to explore skin tones like blues and pinks and yellows and all that stuff, so it'll be interesting. Okay, so now we kind of have roughly a base tone all over the hair, the face, and then the hair at the bottom too. So now I'm actually adding in second, third, and fourth layers to gradually build up that blue color. So basically, layering is the main technique that I use in order for me to color my illustrations and a lot of the different parts of the hair, the skin tones and all that stuff, and then you gradually build it up as you go. So over here I'm just kind of gradually sketching out the earring and also kind of adding the shiny and glistening parts. So those parts I would actually leave blank. So any highlights, you want to keep them as white as possible. You don't want to color them in though, because even if you could use that white ink that I use at the very end every time for my illustrations, it's good to leave it white because there will still be a little bit of colors showing through from the bottom if you were to color the whole thing and then add that white ink. But just leave it blank because it's like then that way you know where to place it and all that stuff. And now we are going to work a little bit on the fluff on the side. So this one was really fun because I did a previous drawing and illustration that had very similar like white furry fluff, and it's like one of those like really furry coats though, but that was for what was his name? Genji. I think this is his name. Yeah, Genji. So it's been a while since I watched Kakuryou, but that is like one of my favorite animes, and I'm looking forward to kind of draw more characters from that series though. But Genji also had this beautiful white fur. Genji is a nine-tailed fox spirit, or a demon, nine-tailed fox demon spirit, and it's part of like the traditional yokai family and like well-known demons though. But yeah, so Kaeya's fur is very similar to that one. And over here I'm using the pencil again because I forgot a particular part in Kaeya's clothing design, so I had to add that though. But I kind of like roughly added in the necklace and then the golden parts and accessories for Kaeya in the similar way that I did the earrings, and then now I'm just kind of moving down to the clothing. So Kaeya has a little bit of clothing. He does have quite a bit of chest showing, so that's pretty nice, I guess. But no, it was it's really refreshing to draw something very different because I don't think so I would usually draw characters like Kaeya though. I would look forward to drawing more of these in the future because I think there's quite a bit of other characters that are kind of like this, I believe. There's so many characters in Genshin Impact. I have so many characters to check off my bucket list. It's just so long. I was thinking of actually doing Klee next, or I'm also currently working on Alhethum. I don't know if I pronounced his name correctly though, but yeah, he's coming soon as well. But here I'm going in with light blue to just color in a base tone, and then here you can actually see how I layer the colors. So every layer is very light, so make sure you add light layers, and once you do that, it would have a more gradual buildup of the vibrant colors. And here I'm also working a little bit on the clothing, and yeah, I'm extending a little bit more of the black edge over here though. But it's a lot of kind of like back and forth a little bit. I'm kind of gradually filling in everything, and as I kind of fill in more parts of the drawing, I see the drawing a lot clearer, so that I can kind of maneuver and kind of move forwards with seeing, okay, I want more colors here, more darker tones over here, and kind of slowly keep on adding until I am happy with the end result. But yeah. Okay, more hair filling in here. But yeah, the hair, I would say I use majority of the time light blue. Sometimes I would add black and purple for anything that needs to be a little bit darker, but those are the main colors that I used for the hair. And I also use like a kind of like a navy blue too as well, so that also helped out with the coloring. So this is that navy blue that I was mentioning, and then I went on with the light blue, and I added on top of that to mix both of them, and then so that they would blend. And you kind of see how the edge of the hair fades before it kind of reaches the highlight area. So that's one technique that I like to use for my anime hairs. So when I draw my anime hairs over here, and it's just a very slow process, and you just want to have to keep on adding those layers, and gradually they would build up to a very beautiful and vibrant color. Direction of hatching also makes a really big difference, so you guys can watch the other video that I have here at the top, because you can take a look and see how to kind of follow the direction, also how to layer the colorings, so that way it would actually reinforce and make it look a lot more semi three-dimensional in a way, because it's following the shape, right? And then that way it just makes it look a lot nicer. So yeah, please feel free to check this one out as I fill in more of the hair. Now going back a little bit with the skin tones. So with skin tones, I mostly used peach, and then for the shadow part under the neck, I used light brown, mahogany, and tan as well. And later on, as you can see, I add a lot more tan to the skin tone, and I also add a little bit of pink, because if you don't add pink, it's going to make the skin tone look really like a yellowish brown, which is not what I'm looking for, or it looks very orangey. So adding the pink kind of balances out the skin tone there. And the eye patches was really fun to create, and mostly that golden strap for the eye patch is really pretty. So I really enjoy drawing these extra little details though. But the eye patch is mostly black with purple. Yeah, those are the two main colors. And then definitely for the golden strap, I used tan, yellow, light brown, and black, and then also black and brown for any of the darker colors. And here, as you can see, I'm adding more of the light brown to the shadows, and also a little bit of light brown on the nose, and I'm moving down towards the bottom part and kind of filling in all the skin tones. So similar thing, using peach, using light brown, using tan, and then also now kind of touching up a little bit of the golden chains over here, and just kind of moving back and forth to whatever I feel like filling in and coloring in. So this part, as you can see on the chest, that's tan. So I'm using a lot of the tan, since Kaeya has a more tanned. Get it? You're using tan to color tan skin. Isn't that nice? But But yeah, so we're using tan to do a lot of the darker skin tones, but definitely that's what I mean when you're coloring different skin tones, you have to kind of see which colors work best because each darker skin tone is slightly bit different. So, and then you just find whichever matches the one that you would like to color in for your character. Now just adding more layers of the tan on the right side as well, and then also blending it with peach. So usually when you're doing skin tones, start out light because even though that we do know that the skin tone is darker, there are lighter parts. So I would suggest starting light first and then you kind of slowly build up the darker tones, because here over the shadow I made it a lot darker than it usually is just because Kaeya has a darker skin tone. And here I'm adding a little bit more details on the earring as well, just to kind of bring more contrast so it looks like a really pretty shiny jewel and crystal, I guess. I'm not sure if it's crystal though. But yeah, and then here, as you can see, I'm polishing up a lot of things. I'm giving more contrast to the hair, giving more contrast to the clothing as well, and just kind of wrapping things up, because the key idea is that you don't want to go back and forth where you don't know what kind of end results you want. So basically the key idea is that you want this drawing and illustration to be completed, so you kind of build towards that. Okay, is this current state, is this the completed version that I wanted, or could I actually work more on it? So that's the usual thought process that I actually go through when I'm actually coloring in my my illustrations and all that stuff. So you want to think, okay, the current state here, it looks nice though, but could I do more? Like, would I be able to add more? Because the moment that I see that, okay, yeah, it's pretty much done, I can't add anything more to it, then it's finished. So I kind of move on to the next thing. So the key idea is to bring all of the parts of the drawing into that that level. So what I like to do sometimes is that when I'm actually coloring, I like to do a planning system where I bring first every part to like 30%, and then later on, as I kind of polish more, I bring everything to 50% and later to 80%, and then once I'm done with 80%, and then slowly I kind of bring everything up to 100% and the illustration is done. So that's the work process, or kind of like mindset I'll actually like to keep in mind. But yeah, there's a lot of touching up, so yeah, it's coming out really nicely. I really love the nice light and dark contrast that Kaeya has, and his character design is such a beautiful character design. Genshin Impact does a great job of designing characters. They're all very unique and they're all very well thought out and all that, and also like just generally story is also very interesting for Genshin Impact as well. Okay, and then now time for the fluffy fur. This was the fun part because I used a combination of light blue, pink, a little bit of purple as well, and those are like the three main colors, because I know that the fur is slightly white though, but when it comes to creativity, you can actually add different types of shadows. So the light blue and pink and purple shadow is what I usually would like to add to white furs instead of just like plain gray, because gray it works out though, but it doesn't look as pretty as it were to add something that's somewhat like a purplish shadow. So I would probably say I would be considered one of the person that likes to add more colors to shadow than just like a plain gray. Like definitely some areas I would actually just do a plain gray shadow, kind of like the collar area for Kaeya's clothing that you'll see later, that I'm adding a little bit more of the plain gray though, but yeah, I like to do a little bit something a little bit more fancy with the shadows, because it's because you can, right? Like nobody says that you can't do that for shadows. You want to be a little bit more creative with what you do. And here, as you can see, I'm kind of filling up the base color and also kind of adding second, third, and fourth layer for the clothing, and just kind of gradually filling in everything and try to bring them to 50% and also later on 80% and then 100%. But yeah. Okay, I'm gonna do some final touch-ups before I move on to the background. So we shall talk a little bit about the background. So the initial plan is that I didn't have an actual idea of what I wanted the background to be like, but in the end I decided to do these beautiful lilies in the background because I see a lot of the original art from Genshin Impact for Kaeya that he has these beautiful flowers, this beautiful nature and greenery in the background, and I don't know what the lilies actually represent for Kaeya. If you guys know, please do comment below. I would actually love to know the story behind it because I've been always like curious why we see the lilies. Like, is it like the national flower of where he originally came from, or just like for the for that region or like that area that he's in? Like, is there a lot of white lilies that grow there? Because I know he's in the same place where Diluc and Jane are, so I'm not sure where these flowers are coming from or what they represent, but they look super pretty, so I decided to use that as the background, and it worked out perfectly because it's not too eye-catching and it's like a green, so it's another cold color, like definitely just yellow it's like a yellow white. It's like a very sunny, happy color, so it really matched out for Kaeya's more cooler blue, and it's not really clashing with his tan skin tone. So I find that this actually worked out really nice, and I can see why the original character designer or like the original art for Genshin Impact picked something like this for multiple of their different backgrounds for Kaeya. So here I'm just kind of filling in the base colors for the leaves and the trees and all that stuff, and just being really careful and trying to map everything out. This part I mostly like winged it. I just kind of see, okay, this looks nice to have a little bit of leaf over here, a little bit of leaf over there, and then later on I just kind of balanced everything out, and any place that I seen that seems to be a little bit more empty, I would just kind of fill it in with a little bit of leaves, or I would add extra few new flowers. But yeah, no, everything turned out really nice. I really love the background for Kaeya. It really worked out, and it kind of filled in a little bit of the epicness because I did have a choice of filling it in with a blank background, but as I mentioned in previous videos, I am working towards to making more details into the background than just a plain background, right? And I want to kind of create like somewhat of a story or something that has a relation to the character, right? Because it makes it more interesting than just filling in the background with plain color, right? We can be a lot more creative with what we do with the background, so I decided to do that, and I'm really happy with the results. Okay, so here we're just doing some final touch-ups over here with the clothing, and then I guess with the hair too, and then everything else though. But I think so I'm close to wrapping things up over here. So here I'm adding more of the details on the inside of the lilies, and kind of just touching up and adding more different tones of green to the leaves as well. So that way it makes it look a lot more interesting, and everything seems to kind of work out together very nicely. So there's a nice harmony between the colors and then also the shapes and all that around Kaeya, and it's kind of like doing a good job being a supporting subject or part of the composition. But yeah, oh yeah, just a little bit about the background. So the lilies, I used yellow and a little bit of yellow green, as well as you can see later on that I add a little bit of that, and I also use a little bit of yellow orange on other areas too. So any place that you're actually adding the yellow green is probably the closed flowers, and then yeah, like right here you kind of see where I add the yellow green, and then for the inside of some of the flowers you can add yellow green, and then some of the other flowers I added yellow orange. So just keep that in mind. Don't mix yellow green with yellow orange, because that's gonna make like some kind of weird brown. And for the leaves I used yellow, I used aqua green, and I also used green and then yellow green as well. So those are the colors that I used for the background majorly. And I just kind of keep on adding more leaves until I feel satisfied, and then so that the majority of the background is kind of filled in, so I don't have anything that's empty or things that seems like it's out of place or anything. But yeah, and then here's that gray part that I was mentioning earlier on the collar. Okay, but yeah, we're wrapping up very soon. I'm adding a little bit more pink on the fluff now to make it nice and pretty, but yeah, Kaeya came out really, really nice. Mixing a little bit more of the blues and the pinks, and then with the fluff area, I have to kind of keep you guys, or kind of give you a reminder to follow the direction of the hatching, because that makes it really important when it comes to that. And I'm adding a little bit of light brown to the golden shiny areas of Kaeya's accessory. Ta-da! Shiny! Okay, and then now for the shiny part, the the highlights. So I like to use Dr. P.H. Martin white ink to do my highlights, because that's the only thing that actually sticks to colored pencils, because colored pencils tend to be a little bit more waxy, so I like to use this for majority of my illustrations. But I'm actually looking forward to kind of try out other alternative stuff that actually works out though, but never really explored too much into that though, but I will let you guys know once I try new stuff. Yeah, but highlights I mostly added on the accessories, so the golden chains, any golden parts on Kaeya's clothing, and then also highlights on the nose, eyes, and lips. And yeah, I think so that's pretty much it though, but yeah, adding the highlights is a very satisfying part. And oh yeah, and the earring too, I can't forget that. And sometimes even after the highlight I would add some touch-ups just to kind of make everything pop a little bit more. But yeah. Okay, and that's it for today. Woo! Kaeya is completed, but I hope you guys enjoyed this brand new illustration of Kaeya from Genshin Impact, and I hope you guys learned a few new things about coloring darker skin tones, and also how to layer colors, and also planning out a background that would match the character. So yeah, awesome. Thank you again so much for watching. If you guys like this brand new video, please make sure to subscribe. Please also make sure to click the like button if you like this brand new drawing video, and also please do comment below if you like to see any other new anime characters, or specifically any new Genshin Impact characters that you would like to see me draw in the future and color in the future. So yeah, okay, thank you again so much. Oh yeah, and also great news, I got my table number at Animethon. So Animethon is an anime convention in Edmonton, and I will actually be participating, and I will be at the Artist Alley this year, so feel free to drop by, come and say hello, and I'll be more than happy to kind of chat with you guys, and then you guys can check out some of the new prints that I have, new goodies, and a lot of like special deals and offers. So yeah, and then also there's also another great news that I got into the workshop and drawing panel as well, so I'll be hosting a drawing workshop at Animethon too, but I do not have the date just yet. But currently I only have the table number, which is A9. So come and find me over there. I'm looking forward to meeting you guys. But yeah, okay, awesome. And if you would like more drawing exercises like this, I do have more on my Patreon, so feel free to check those out. You can get more coloring pages like these when you sign up for Learning Fuzz tier or Student Fuzz tier, and then there's so many more drawing exercises on there too. There's hatching exercises, there's drawing constructions, there's step-by-step process, and also you can vote on other subjects or themes that you would like to learn about drawing or painting. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'll be more than happy to help you guys out. So yeah, thank you again so much, you guys, and I will catch you guys next time with more new videos coming up, and then also more new art tutorials, so stay tuned for more art stuff. And have fun practicing, everybody, and keep up the amazing work. And I'm looking forward to sharing more knowledge and also more tutorials and also more stuff and activities that we can actually do together. So yeah, okay. Take care, everybody. Have a wonderful week. Have a wonderful weekend, and enjoy the beautiful weather, and stay tuned for the upcoming new video. Okay, I'll catch you guys next time. See you. Bye.